going to do another easy recipe to kind of go along with Jill's Hawaiian shrimp. This is the pineapple upside down cake, and I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to throw about a half a tablespoon, a little less, in my glass casserole. It's a simple recipe, so then I'm going to simply use that to grease the pan, which is perfect. I find that's not really necessary because I'm going to throw butter and things like that in here, but I think it sometimes sticks. I don't want it to stick when I flip it upside down. Okay, so I got that ready to go. So we're good as far as that is concerned. All right, so one of the things I want to do in preparation is I need this quarter stick of butter to be melted. So I'm going to throw it up in the microwave.
Is that a quarter stick or a quarter cup?
That's a quarter cup. It's a half a stick.
Perfect.
Okay, and I'm going to have to think that out real quick. All right, so let me kind of do that and get that. And so while I'm kind of doing some prep here, I also have a half a cup of oil that we'll use for the cakes. And this is wonderful because it's the crushed pineapple. And this is the pineapple slices, which of course is the way we start this cake. So what I want to do is, instead of using a cup of water or a cup of milk or anything like that, we're going to use the leftover juice from all of this. And actually I'll only be using about a half a cup because when I throw that in, the crushed pineapple in, it's just going to be perfect, and I'm not going to need really anything. Okay. So let's see how we're doing on this. It's going to be really hot. So we'll let that sit out here for a while. But there's my butter that's all melted and everything. So we're going to be really good with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that butter and I'm just going to kind of throw it right in here in the pan. And so then I'm just going to kind of move this all around really good to kind of just make sure the butter is completely everywhere on the bottom. And in fact, I'm just going to do good. Put about half of that in here. And I'll leave this out because this is not a precise measurement. It's, you know, if I need some more, then I'm going to use some more. Here's what we do. We just kind of take that and sprinkle it through this butter. Makes it really easy. Okay, so basically the brown sugar is going to soak up all that wonderful butter. Yep. This is easy. And I'm not going to need any more. But I probably had a little bit more than I half a cup, but that's okay. I'll make a cup. Guys, carefully. And so here's how we do that. I'm gonna put one right there. I'm gonna put one right here. Go to the other end, I'm gonna put one right here. I'm gonna put one right there. Put one in the middle here. Put one in the middle here. So the edge of that can cut me, and I want to get the bleeding stopped before I put that on, but just to kind of make sure. Okay, and so just.
Which way do you want it?
Yeah, kind of across the knuckles, and I'm going to just cut. And so there we go. So now we're going to take these little maraschino cherries, and let me get another ramekin.
Yummy.
Okay, so what we're going to do is just kind of right here in the center of each of these. I'm not going to use that one. Oh, I should have given that to Jill. Jill, you like cherries?
Yes.
All right, Jill.
And pineapple. And butter and brown sugar.
You just got everything you like, huh? Okay. So we get that kind of in there like that. I'm going to put one in all the gaps. What do you think?
Looks pretty.
Every time my mother would cook something, she would always let me like lick the bowl or eat the leftover cherries or anything like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this guy aside for a minute. But now what we gotta do is mix up the batter. And thought we had a bowl. We do. Okay. So I'm making this really easy and just using Betty Crocker's super moist yellow cake. Could have made one, because as you can see in this little package, there ain't nothing in there that we couldn't have mixed together. I mean, what you got in here is obviously flour and probably some sugar, and you definitely have some well, probably something to kind of make things rise a little bit. So that's probably all there is in here. And we're going to throw the eggs in there, and so when that does that, it's going to make it yellow. And so that's probably where the yellow cake comes in. So we're going to dump that in there. Okay. And put the scissors back in. So I'm not really following the directions on the package because it wants us to mix up, to add. So you have, in addition to that, which is flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, half a cup of vegetable oil. So there's half a cup of vegetable oil, 3 eggs, and a cup of water. We're not using a cup of water. We're going to use this whole can of crushed pineapple, and then see if we need much of this. And we'll probably only need about half of that. Okay? So we're going to kind of get that started, and I'm going to get a fork out. I could throw this all in the mixer, but why? You know, I kind of mix with a fork, and it works pretty easy. So there we go. We got that kind of working. Let's get these eggs working.
It's always a good idea to crack your eggs into a bowl first to make sure you don't get any shell.
Yes.
Yeah, And I got one right here, but it didn't fall into the bowl. Okay, so let's just kind of scrambled eggs, anyone? Maybe not.
Not today.
All right, so let's see how that works when we go back to mixing everything up. And what I want is I actually want this to be able to pour right out into our pan. Okay, so obviously this is not going to pour, but maybe it will after I throw in a can of crushed pineapple. And what this is going to do is it makes this pineapple upside down cake the most pineapple-iest upside down cake there ever was. Okay, because that's a lot more pineapple than any recipe ever calls for, but it sure makes it good. All right, so I'm stirring all this up really good. And I still don't quite, it's getting there, but I still don't have quite the pourability yet, but we're getting close. We're getting so close. Yep. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this. That's probably all I will need. And we'll stir that up until it looks like we could just pour it right out. And when that happens, we're done with that. And I think that's actually good enough. Good?
Good.
Okay, so that being the case, I'm bringing this back over. And this will just set out here. You want to drink the rest of that? It's really good.
It is good.
It's really good. Now I can pour it in, but I've never been a big fan of just pouring it in. Okay? Because I don't want it to mess up where my pineapples are, where my cherries are, and all that kind of stuff, which would happen if I just pour it in. So I'm just going to grab a big scoop, like so. And just put the big scoop on each one of these guys. You're following what I'm saying there? I'm just gonna put this in, and then once we've got them all covered and all the cherries covered, then we'll go put them wherever we might have a space. And of course, remember this, as soon as this hits the heat, this cake is going to rise. Why is it going to rise? Well, because we got all that wonderful rising agent in there. Such as what?
Baking powder.
Baking powder and baking soda. A little bit of each. There we go. All right. All right. And then we'll just kind of shake this a little bit and let it just kind of settle down. Do you all do this?
Sometimes.
Just kind of let it settle down level. And I think we're in good shape. Do you think we're in good shape? But I think let's put it in the oven. And let's let it cook. And it needs about 45 minutes, 40 minutes really. So, hey Siri, set timer for 40 minutes.
Okay, 40 minutes and counting.
Okay, so that'll let me know when that's ready. And if you come over here, you can see I already took one out, which I took out just right before I started putting this together. Okay, so it's ready for the upside down treatment. And you ask, oh, what in the heck is that? The upside down treatment. Yeah. So, there's a couple of ways we can do that. Easy way, put this on top like so. Yep. And turn it over. And let's just kind of let it sit for a minute. And let everything just kind of fall out just a little bit. And it'll get there. And I'm just going to take this off now and come over here and take a gander at it.
Ooh, that's so pretty.
What do you think, Jill?
Looks good.
Okay, so that's what it looks like once I do the flip. But it has to sit out and rest for about 15 minutes before you do that. And then once you flip it over, you want to kind of let it, just let this top stay on it. Let the baking dish stay on it for 10 or 15 minutes. Let everything fall out of that baking dish and back into this. So I think we're about ready to sample this a little bit. Are you all ready to sample this a little bit?
I am.
Yes.
Okay. So why don't we, Janet, why don't I give you this and let you do the cutting?
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to just sit here and focus on you. All right.
How big of a piece would everybody like?
Well, there's a whole thing we could cut right out there, and and
Would everybody like a whole pineapple? Sure. Oh my
hold that, would you? I'm going to. Oh, you're going to make a little Kirby piece.
Give someone a whole pineapple.
Okay.
Come off of there.
Turn loose. Turn loose. Any way you want to do it.
It's very awkward. That's a big piece of cake. Oh my goodness, that looks so good.
I'll put that right over here. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. Another big piece. Wow, that looks good. Yeah.
All right, Mary loved your shrimp dish.
Great.
And she's not really a big fan of cilantro, simply because she thinks it makes it too hot.
Uh-oh, those are
Uh-oh.
shrimps.
So, all right. Good, Jan?
It's delicious.
How about yours, Jill? Not much of yours left, Jill. I guess not much of mine left either, so. Well, you had a very fabulous shrimp dish,
Thank you.
and I love shrimp, so I can eat shrimp dishes anytime. That kind of goes along with that little Hawaiian. Yeah. So what we said we were going to cook next time was I'm going to cook my herb crusted chicken and with a spinach risotto.
Yes.